Hi, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's time for Bible study, and it's September. And what that means is that beginning this evening, 7:30, we will be doing a hybrid Bible study. So meet us in the fellowship hall. Downstairs, we'll be spread out. There's plenty of room. Or you can join via Zoom, as we have been. All the information, as always, in the description here. But I hope to see you one way or another tonight at 7:30. We're going to be reading Matthew chapter 9 together. And we'll talk a lot more about it then. But I just want to bring to your attention one verse in chapter 9 here. I want to bring it to your attention because it is the signature of the writer of the gospel, I believe, anyway. And that's right here in verse 9. It says, "As Jesus passed on from there," and that was healing the paralytic man, "he saw a man called Matthew sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, 'Follow me.' And he rose and followed him." And there you go. There's your author. At least the traditional attribution, which I happen to think is very likely to be true. And what do you see there? What is this testimony? Well, where does Jesus find Matthew? Jesus finds Matthew in the tax booth. Matthew is, I know it always gets translated as tax collector, but that's not really a very good description of Roman imperial tax farmers, because modern tax collectors are agents of the state and they just perform a functionary sort of thing. They collect the money, they make sure, In the ancient world, in the Roman Empire, the Romans outsourced a system of tax farming. So what happened was, you know that there's a given district, right? And you know about how many people live in this district, so you know about how much tax revenue you should be getting from a per capita tax in that district. And then you have an auction, and people bid for the contract to collect the taxes in that particular place. Now, and the person with the lowest overhead wins the contract. That sounds great, right? The Romans don't actually have to do it themselves. They get their money, everybody's happy, except nobody was happy. Nobody was happy, not just because people have never enjoyed paying taxes. They're not happy because in order to win the contracts, a person almost always had to lie about their profit margin. If you were really to be the low bidder, you probably had to bid lower than your own expenses, and then to make up the value of the contract, you steal from the people who you are collecting taxes from. And how do you get away with it? You get away with it because you, my Roman tax farming friend, have goons. The world doesn't change a great deal. He who has the gun, or in this case the spear, makes the rules. And this is why tax collectors are universally despised through the entirety of the New Testament. And this is why everyone gets really bent out of shape when Jesus appears in company with tax collectors and prostitutes and other disreputable folk. Verse 11 here, the Pharisees said to Jesus' disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" And in their mind, that's a redundancy, right? I've heard this myself. You see a lot of people around town, right? And I talk to people, and that's fine. And then somebody will come up to me and say, "You know he's an addict, right?" Well, of course I know he's an addict. I'm not stupid. Anyway, Jesus was ready with an explanation. He said, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice." That's Hosea 6, verse 6. "For I came not to call the righteous, but sinners." The difference between Matthew, the tax collector, and the Pharisees who were grumpy about him, it was not what they thought it was. The difference, they thought, was that Matthew is a bad guy and they are good guys. No, the difference was that Matthew recognized his own sin. And when Jesus called him to follow got up and went. And the Pharisees did not recognize their own sin, and faced with the same call to follow, they did nothing. Be careful, guys. When you're out there in the world, remember that you are speaking as a sinner who has been redeemed by grace to other sinners. You really have no ground to judge, and no ground certainly to condemn. Well, in any case, lots more here in Matthew 9. Hope to see you this evening, 7:30, live or via Zoom. Either way, look forward to it.